Hi, good afternoon. I guess Wendy and I are going to do another video together. My daughter Cassie had a long trip yesterday and she stayed up till 6 o'clock in the morning talking to Wendy. And I guess she's not feeling too good today because she had a full day work that she had left. And she had worked all day yesterday, so, and then stayed up. It's too much. So maybe she might do another video with us. I'm not sure because she's going to be leaving soon. So, okay, would you like to start talking about, what would you like to start talking about?
I don't care. What do you want to talk about?
Someone asked me, I think it might have been, I think it was me, myself, and I. Or maybe it was Terry, I'm not sure, about remote viewing.
Okay.
So I would just go over real quick how you can remote view. First off, everything starts in your imagination. You have to open that up and start with focusing on, say you have an objective that you want to meet. I want to know what's going on next door, or something like this, or maybe what's going on, I don't know, something that you would be able to verify. Maybe with your cousin or your friend or your family member, whatever. And in that moment, go into your imagination and focus on them, and whatever comes in, don't deny it, just look at it. And this is how you can start practicing remote viewing and do things that you can verify. Because if you start remote viewing, like, I don't know, outer space or in the center of the earth or the bigger earth or something, you can't verify this stuff. You need to start with stuff you can actually verify. And at that point, when you start hitting things, and even if it's just a small section here or something small here or anything that comes out, and talk to other people about it, like what were you doing at this certain time, and see if this starts activating for you. This is how you can start remote viewing. Like, you can even call one of your family members and say, at a certain time, I want to remote view what they're doing, and whatever comes in, that's what they're doing. And write it down if you have to, and then contact them and ask them, hey, what were you doing at this time? And the more you do it, the more you start activating that ability, and before you know it, you're going to be hitting the target more often than not. And it's as simple as that. It's something you have to do, and you have to think about doing it, and it's a part of your brain that doesn't really get used because we're like, oh, I don't know, I'll pick up the phone and find out. Actually, when we have the device between us, which is the phone or anything like this, it really diminishes the beings that we are, because we have these innate abilities and they have atrophied because we just don't use them.
And that's why they put a lot of technology out, so you can be distracted.
Yeah, and also being the third man, so you don't do anything. You have to go through the third man to get something done. And it's like anything, the more you use it, the more it works for you.
Yep, that's true.
So that's one thing I want to talk about. Did you want to talk about crystals a little bit?
Yeah, that's fine. We can do crystals.
Because my daughter loves crystals. She's got a ton of crystals.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, Wendy loves her crystals. Now, why do you love your crystals so much?
I don't know, I just love crystals. I feel like I can use them to enhance my abilities also. So, I have a ton of crystals.
I will tell you this. Crystals are alive, even if you don't believe it. They carry an energy signature, just as we do. And I would never say use crystals. I would say more like semi-biotic. Like, I have crystals. They're on my wrist. They're small. You can get them anywhere. You can go to eBay and order them. They're a couple dollars. But they're stone and they're crystalline. Most of this place is crystalline because this used to be a crystalline world at one point. But because they have energy in them and they are alive, even if it's not the definition of what you would think is alive, they still are alive. And like with the horse, you wouldn't want to just use a horse and that's all you're doing. No, you would have to care for the horse. You'd have to feed the horse, take care of its, shoe the horse, brush the horse. It's the same with crystals. You don't just use them. It's a semi-biotic relationship where they're getting something from you and you're getting something from them. You have to wash your crystals often because they'll get energetically dirty. So cool water, wash them, put them in the sun. You can dry them off with a towel if you want, or just sun dry them. That's maintaining your crystals. And also, don't expect your crystals to do anything for you. What they do is strengthen your biofield and resonate with your energies and enhance what you already have. And in return, they're getting that good flow of energy. I would never take crystals and try to do anything negative with them because it will backfire every single time. Crystals are on a much higher vibration, and low negative vibrations, they don't jive with crystals. You can even shatter your crystals if you have a very low negative vibration because they won't do it.
Plus, it's the crystals that are accepting you to use them because they could deny you that. Mm-hmm. So you need to be very careful using crystals as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh, and one more thing about crystals. If you see a crystal and you wonder if it's for you, the moment you come across any crystal of any shape, form, size, whatever, and you have to have it, it isn't just that you've chosen it, it's also chosen you right back again. Mm-hmm. Crystals choose their owners, even if you don't think so. And that's why you have that. Oh, I gotta have that, because they've already chosen you.
Mm-hmm. And you should always ask permission to use them. Which, yeah, you should.
Yeah, you really should. You should, because it's just like anything else. Mm-hmm. You don't use anything. You coexist with them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, what would you like to talk about next? Oh, I've heard a couple of things, and I'm a bit disturbed by it. So we're going to talk about our individuality.
Oh, yeah.
There are people that talk about they're the only thing that actually exists, and you don't exist, and blah, blah, blah. This is their reality, and you just happen to be in their reality, and you're just a reflection of them. I'm here to let you know.
That's wrong.
I am not you, and you are not me.
No.
And we are having very separate realities. Mm-hmm. And if I happen to come across your path, it's because I can learn something from you or you can learn something from me. It's just the sharing of knowledge. But that doesn't mean that I don't exist or you don't exist. That's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I mean, I got on, heard some stuff and it's like, wait a minute, hold on. Because I do know that we're all a part of Source. We came from Source. Source gave us our individuality. We are never going back into Source. Mm-hmm. And we are not each other. We have been given individuality, and we will maintain this for existence as long as we exist, and that's forever. Mm-hmm. And we've existed forever, too.
Mm-hmm. We were all created through Source, but we are all still individuals.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah, so somebody was talking to me, and they're like, yeah, we're all just... So, my daughter's sitting over here. My other daughter, Cassie's sitting over here, and she's just like, no, Mom, I'm not up to it. So Woody's talking to her. So I just wanted to let,
when you put your 2 cents in, that's a good thing.
So, but yeah, actually, we're all individuals. No one is anyone. I have my own life, my own space, my own reality. So does everyone else. Well, I will talk about this. There's the 102 originals where this place was made for. There are the Matrix beings who are running on the Matrix program. And there are the Starseeds that have come in.
The Starseeds. That's everybody that is awake or even not awake. The Starseeds are basically the ones being projected into this. The true beings on this existence. They are also the ones that have experiences of other lives or past lives or being on other worlds or anything like this, being another being. Those are the Starseeds. They might not know they are, but if you know you are a true person, a true being who is not AI, who has memory of other existences, you are a Starseed. We are here for a reason.
Yeah. You should talk about when you remember being the creator being from another world, another reality.
So, that I know of, I was living on Sirius B, which was another existence completely out of all of this.
Simulation.
Simulation.
It was in, was it in the The Archon box, though? I think or was it out of even that?
I don't think it was in the Archon box. But I don't know, I've not looked into it. But I do remember being there in this place, and there were beings there, not a lot of beings, but enough beings, and we were actually creating other entities from nothing, from our own energies. We would think of what we wanted, and we would put our energy into the water and create these beings, basically. And there was a circle of water and a fence that was going around. This is the place we lived, and it was even more than this. This is just a small part of what we were doing. And we would put our hands down and think of everything that we wanted to create, and everything was in the body of water that we were creating at the time. So I know that you could create seahorses, jellyfish, fish, anything, starfish, but we were actually creating these entities. They never existed before.
And you created those in water?
In water.
Oh,
in water.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I can't say that you need water to create. I think you can use it, but these beings were also residing in the water. They needed to live in the water. Does that make sense? You're creating something that lives in the water. So
hurry. The cat's going off the deep end.
Yeah,
So
but anyway,
that's very interesting.
It was a very good experience, and you know, it's crazy because everybody was happy, at peace. They were their highest selves there. It didn't matter. There was no such thing as negativity, only happiness and purity and love. That's all that mattered in this place, and it was wonderful. And then it got destroyed, unfortunately. The darker entities they didn't like us because we were such good beings on a high vibration, so they destroyed us because they didn't have any control. They wanted power. And
that sounds so familiar.
It sounds like this simulation, actually. At one time, everything here was a pure thing, and now it's been completely infiltrated and taken over. And it's up to us as beings to try and work ourselves out of this. Get out of that dark mindset. Start thinking positively. You need to raise your frequencies. And by raising your frequencies, you're just leaving the negative behind. You're being positive. You know, you need to just work with what you have. It's very hard, but once you start realizing that it's easier than that, and you just start changing your daily life and say, you know what, I'm going to let this go. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to do what I do every day. You know, it's the mood that you're in that brings you up or brings you down, and what changes your reality. So you need to think on this higher spectrum and to know that it's going to be okay. So
that's probably where you have leftover memories of how to manifest. Wendy has the ability and has done it in front of me. She has, out of the ether, and that's everything around us, manifested things out of thin air. Mm-hmm. Would you like to talk about that? Because I'm sitting there going, oh, wow. How did you do that? And I want to do it too.
Well, it's kind of funny because at first I didn't realize I was even doing it, you know. If I thought about things, just thinking about it, it's like my own higher conscience or subconscious
you should definitely talk about the first thing you manifested in front of me.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just sitting there going, what?
We
really?
Were sitting at the table and we were getting ready to eat food. So I got a piece of bread out and I asked Mom, well, I didn't ask Mom anything. I was thinking, I'm going to cut this bread. I cut 2 pieces and they were a little thick, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know, Mom might want a piece. So I was thinking that maybe I should go ahead and cut her another piece because she wants one, you know, just in case. And I was thinking that I want it to be a little bit thinner, you know, these were kind of thick. I want a perfect little piece, okay? And next thing you know, I asked Mom, I'm like, did you want a piece of bread? And she was like, no, I'm okay. And I was like, I looked down, I'm like, wait a second. There's another piece of bread on this plate, and it's perfect looking. And I'm like,
what happened was,
I didn't cut
there was
bread.
a plate in front of us. We had a German bread, and you have to cut them individually because we didn't have it sliced. And she had cut 2 slices and buttered them and was eating them. And I was looking at the plate, because I was eating mine, just looking at the plate. I looked away for a second, and I looked back. There was nothing left on the plate. And then when I looked back, all of a sudden there was a piece of German bread cut and buttered. And it's like,
I forgot it was
how did you do that in a split second? Because the big old knife was laying on the plate, and it's a big knife. And the bread is huge, so you have to hold the bread and then saw it. And it's like, wait a minute. I just looked away from the plate for 1 second. And in that 1 second, not only was there another piece of bread on there, it was even buttered. I'm like, what? And then when he looks at me and says, Mom, when did you cut that bread and butter it so fast? I'm like, I didn't touch that. I don't know. It wasn't me.
Yeah, it was really crazy.
She wanted something, and it manifested because she wanted it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh my God, you just did a physical manifestation. Mm-hmm. What else can you do? Go manifest me a bar of gold.
Yeah. Well, I manifested other things too. I do smoke. I do smoke cigarettes, so I ended up manifesting a whole pack of cigarettes in my purse. And,
oh gosh, the $5 bill.
Yep, and I also manifested $5. I was looking through my wallet, and I was like, you know what? I know I had a $5 bill in here. I know I did, and I looked through it and looked through it.
I was standing next to her, and this $5 bill comes flying out of her purse, and it's like, what the fuck? I'm like, how did it fly out of your purse to begin with? And where did it come from?
Exactly.
Because she's like, I don't have any money, Mom, and I need a pack of cigarettes. I'm like, well, send him to stop smoking.
Yeah. And it just literally, I had my wallet, and I just barely had it open. It just literally floated right out on top of it into my hand.
What's making this float?
I'm like, oh, okay.
There's your $5. There's your pack of cigarettes. It's when cigarettes were cheaper.
Yeah. But it was crazy, And I've also manifested at work, unfortunately.
I've manifested at work.
Well, it was something. It was like one of those scents that you open up and you put like on a table or in the bathroom to give you fragrance.
Okay.
And I was unpacking the box at the time, and I'm like, oh, there could be another one in here. There's only 6, or do I have 2 left or 3 left? And I was thinking, oh no, I think there's 3 left in the box, not 2. And next thing you know, I look, and there was only 2. So I'm starting to put it up, and I look back down, and 1 more ended up appearing in the box. And I'm like, wait a second, I know I only had 2 in this box, not 3. I must have just did that. It was so crazy though, but that should have been mine, even though I left it.
Oh no, what did it look like?
It looked exactly like all the other ones, except I don't know. It's like one of those round oval ones, and you twist the top and just barely pull it up, and it's like the gel on the outside.
Well, I did a video where
it renews it or whatever.
I did a video where in a manifesting video, and it was it's like a film. Like there's a frame, there's nothing, there's a frame, there's nothing, and it's the in betweens where you can actually change this reality because it's a matrix. And this matrix will give you what you want. If you really want it, this is a matrix. It will give you what you want. Most people are like, oh, this is all happening to me. No, that's because you're letting negativity rule where you should be letting positivity rule. And the more you focus on something, the more this place will give you exactly what you're focusing on. I suggest we all focus on higher things that you really want. And the moment a negative thought comes into your mind, do not allow it in there because you will manifest that stuff.
Yes, and it does happen. As much as you want it or don't want it, sometimes it will still happen just because thought is everything.
Yeah, because we are thought in the end. We're being projected into here, so.
Yes, and thought is your own energy manifesting itself out, which is why you can physically get things.
Where's my gold bar? manifest me a big gold bar. I'm sure I'm not the only one that would say that. Actually, if I really had to manifest something, I would manifest a better world. I would manifest a fear right out of here. And not all the gold in the world would be better than that. I want to manifest a reality that we all are prosperous in. A high vibrational reality where fear simply does not exist. No more fear, no more feeding off of us. This needs to be a better, higher reality. So no, I'm not going to manifest a bar of gold. What I am going to manifest is the end of fear, the end of tyranny, the end of all of these things. When I walk outside and I see the fear in these matrix program people, and it's really sad because you can change the matrix, but you got to change it in here first, and you have to always go to the higher vibration to do it. You want to change it out there? Change it in here. And you can make the direct change.
Yep. And you'll start seeing your world changing around you and your own existence.
Let's give the example of yesterday when we went to Walmart. Walmart, Walgreens, Home Depot, Lowe's, and there's a whole slew of them. On July the 27th, they made a new ruling that they will not be forcing mandatory masks in any of these stores. And there's a lot of them. You have to look for the list of it. Maybe I'll leave it on the description, the link of what has been passed. So now if you go into these places like Walmart, whatever, and you do not wear a mask, the employees will not and cannot accost you for not wearing a mask, and you do not have to have a health condition. And in the description of why they decided, the CEOs decided to do this was because, I'm going to tell you what it's really about. They said it's because of the confrontations, but I'm going to tell you it's because we're winning. The matrix is getting higher and higher and higher, and this is the first sign that we're winning, that the matrix is getting better.
Yes.
So because I'm a big one against the masks, I'm against the shots, I'm against, or the vaccines. Anything that's on a negative level, I'm against it. I want the higher reality. So we went in yesterday to Walmart, and we did not, of course, I'll never wear a mask. You're going to have to confront me and tie me down and put it on me.
Neither of us had a mask on.
We walked around the whole store. We were proud. We had our heads up. We had smiles on, and we were starting to affect people.
Some people saw us and started bringing their masks down.
Oh, well.
That's okay.
So we walked in there, and there was a couple of people who took their masks down to the underneath their chin because we were walking around proud, breathing the air, and we are free. Look at us without fear. We will be the example. We have no fear. And we will be the example.
And nobody said anything to us.
No one. Not a customer. The employees. We must have passed at least 15 employees.
And I'm sorry, the whole time I kept thinking, we're the only normal ones here in this whole reality at this point. Everybody in there had a mask on.
Terrified. Contagious of other human beings. You're going to kill me. This is what they want to spread. Fear. Fear of mankind. Fear of humanity. So it's pretty sad.
It is sad.
It's sad. But we're definitely going to be going out now knowing that they changed these rules and regulations. This also proves that governors cannot make laws. They cannot. You have a system of making a law, and that's through the Congress, through the Senate, and then finally through the president, who can either say A or veto. Governors don't have the power to truly make laws. They don't.
No.
It's bypassing the entire lawmaking system. And that these CEOs came in and changed their ruling about wearing masks proves that they are not laws, or they'd have never been able to do it. I am definitely posting that in the description box. I was so proud. Zanfast is the one that showed it to me, and it's like, yay, one for the good guys. So, I was really happy about that. Now I'm going to walk everywhere proud. Proud to be human and not afraid. Look at my non-fear. I will never show you fear. That's not going to happen. I'll never bow down to it.
Well, not only that, it's not just a fear base, but it's a control issue and a power issue. They act.
No one's muzzling me like a dog. I did a video on that. You're not muzzling me like a dog. I'm no dog. You're not muzzling me. I'm a free sovereign being, and I will remain that way for eternity. And this place will not take that from me. Not ever take that from me. No. No, I'm way too strong. You're really gonna have to tie me down to a chair, muzzle me, and then I'll chew my way through the mask. It's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got that rebel in me. Viva la revolution! I've got that rebel in me. I don't know. It's funny. So, what else would you like to talk about? Some of the things that we saw?
Oh yeah, we can talk about more about our experiences if you want to.
Oh,
Or did you want to talk about?
oh yes. My mother passed away about a week and a half ago. She was fighting dementia. Dementia / Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's. When my mother finally passed, I was so happy because she had degraded down to an unreasonable state of existence. I really have a big thing about quality of life. And when you have surpassed a certain quality of life, I think it's terrible that you're made to stay here. We're kinder to our animals than we are to our human fellow man and women, children, what have you. And my mother had degraded down to a point where the only thing that was truly functioning on her was her reptilian part of her brain, which is the lower functioning, which is running your automated systems, your heart, your breathing. And she had lost all dignity of being a human, and she just was like a vegetable.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was praying every day, let her pass, let her pass. Don't torture her another day, let her pass. Mm-hmm. And then finally she did pass. But before she passed, about 2 weeks before she passed, she was staying at my brother's house, my other brother's house. And I kept smelling my mother's perfume, and it was strong. And I'm like, Mom, let go. It's time to go. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You're an eternal being. Don't be afraid. I love you. I'll see you again. Let go of this reality. And she was here for 2 weeks, and I was talking to her like this. And then finally, I know she's came to a decision, because it's your own choice to go or to stay. And it's like, you're not living. You're not even hardly existing. Not in that body that's beyond
Repair.
It was horrible. I mean, Wendy saw her. It was just miserable.
You might as well say she wasn't even the same person anymore.
She couldn't speak anymore. She wasn't in her mind, and most of the time she was sleeping, and she had lost all control of her urinary and bowels, and she was just.
She didn't even know who anybody was.
It was even worse than that, because it was just awful. She
stopped eating.
She stopped eating, and even before that, the last year, she had lost her mind, and she would just run around banging on the windows, ow, 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 because she lost her capacity for speech. Mm-hmm. And it was like she was a prisoner, and I've never seen such quality of life being diminished, and that we just let our elderly do. I'm telling you right now, if I have any signs of Alzheimer's or dementia, I am very equipped, because I know about herbs and things. I am going to make and I'm an excellent cook and baker. I'm going to make one hell of a delicious cocktail, a poison one, and I'm out. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I will not stay in a body that doesn't serve me. I'm not that. No, if there's no quality of life, I'm out. I'm not staying. After witnessing that, I have already come to my choice. I'm out, and it's my choice, and no one has the right to tell me I must live like this. Sorry, but it's my body. It's my choice. Oh yeah, I'm going off on my soap opera again.
Yeah. But anyway. So do you want to talk about?
We actually made a little list because we ramble so.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Oh boy.
Experiences. That's basically, and then this one.
Oh yeah. You want to talk about that? Wendy and I had gone walking one day, and it was so weird. It was 2 years ago? It was about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
About 2 years ago. We were walking the dogs in the neighborhood. And as we were walking, I felt a vibrational change. Mm-hmm. And so did Wendy. And would you like to talk about that?
I don't know. We were walking and I looked down and I started looking at our shadows, and then we started looking around and I'm like, what is going on? It's like we were in a completely alternate dimension. It's like everything was green and it was really weird. I don't even know how to explain it. And the shadows were wonky. They were like not real shadows, but I don't know. How would you explain that?
It was strange. We walked through a higher dimensional field.
It felt like, you know how when you're here, you're just here. It felt like when you have all this knowledge and you're woken up and you're at a higher plane. That's what it felt like.
And all of a sudden, the neighborhoods were still there.
Not just down here.
The neighborhoods were still there. The cars were still there.
Yeah, everything was still
but
intact.
there was no people.
Nobody
There
was
were
around.
animals. There were trees. There was all of this. And we're in neighborhoods. And I made a comment about, where's all the people?
Yeah, there was
It was
nobody around.
like we stepped into the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And when we were there, our shadows began to morph. I'm like, look at our shadows.
Yeah.
What's going on? And everything started to turn green. Like the sun was green.
And we looked up and the sun was green.
And it was like our shadows started to morph and the sun was green.
The green
and
sun.
The people disappeared. The animals were still there. The trees were there. The buildings were there. The cars were still there. But we did something, and it was crazy. I felt light.
Yeah, we
Really,
felt
really
like we had
light.
light bodies, even though we still were in these physical bodies.
Yeah.
I
And
felt like you could fly.
when we came back,
I don't know.
I noticed that when we came back, we walked through something, and I felt heavy all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there was people everywhere. And it was like, where do these people come from? Where'd they come from? It's like, it was really weird. That was just a weird day.
It was very
That was just a weird day. That's about 2 years ago. And then there was the I was still married. I'm going through a divorce, so I was with my husband, and he was in the backyard, and he started screaming my name. And I came running out, what is it, what is it? He goes, oh my God, what is that? He was pointing to the tree. And I kept hearing this whoosh, whoosh. It's like, what the hell is that? I looked in the tree, and there was this enormous Thunderbird. It was the size of a biplane. And Randy was freaking out. And I'm like, oh my God, I've never seen oh my God, get in the house and eat us. It looked like a big damn crow.
Yeah.
But this thing was the size of a biplane, and it was on the tree. The tree was bent over. I'm like, oh my God. I didn't really do my phone because I never had technology. And so if I would have had this phone, I'd have had it on me, and I wish I would have had a phone because I'd have took a picture. And it was a Thunderbird or a video. And then when it took off, the whole tree, it was like a wind.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, and Randy, the whole time, he is just flipping out, standing there because in his reality, this is not going to be in his reality. So there it was, and we both saw it, and he's losing it, and I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna eat us. Birds, man, they'll eat. We would be like a worm.
Yeah.
I don't know, aren't crows kind of carnivorous? They'll eat flesh. I'm thinking, hide. But that was crazy. And then there was time I was in the backyard and I was on the swing. And I was swinging on the swing. It was a seat swing, for adults, not like a child swing. And I was sitting there and I was going back and forth. And when I looked forward and looked up, I kept seeing this glint. It was like a piece of glass with sun in your face. Every time I would swing, I'm like, what the hell is that? So I got up out of the swing and I went and looked and what am I seeing? I saw a man with huge wings. I mean, the wings were twice the size of the body in the air. And I'm sitting here going, no, this is not my reality. Because I don't believe in that stuff. So I saw this winged man, and he had this like white toga thing on. It had like a strap thing on him. And he did have sandals, but they strapped up his leg. And it's like, no, I'm not seeing this. No, this is not, no, I don't accept this. Because I'm not into all that craziness. At least I'm not a religious fanatic, so that doesn't go in my world. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, what is my world? And then I looked at that for a while, and I walked away. No, I walked away. That was a bit crazy. I don't see people with wings. That doesn't fit in my reality. That's crazy. The feathers were enormous on this dude. This is like something ridiculous. But yeah. Oh, we used to talk about when you were standing at the front door one day. And what came up the walkway.
Yeah, I was in the front door, and it was like, oh my gosh.
I have no idea. Tiger, what did you dump over? We'll have to check.
Anyway, it was like 12:30 at night, and I had my sister over with her boyfriend at the time. And I was already really tired, and I went out to the front door to smoke a cigarette. And next thing you know, I see coming from the side of the house, this gnome started walking towards me. And I'm looking at it like, oh, it's a gnome. It's so cute, It's coming towards me. What's it doing out here? And I'm like, wait a second. It's a fucking gnome. What the hell is going on? And then as soon as I realized what I was seeing and I got clicked back here, it just started disappearing. And I'm like, okay, that's really weird. I know I just saw that. He had clothes on, a beard, everything that looks like a statue of a gnome looked like him, except he was about 3 foot tall. So I thought that was really weird. I was like, am I really seeing this? And he was looking right at me, coming closer and closer. I'm like, wow, he's almost next to me, what's going on? But
we don't do drugs. That's another thing. Somebody said that we better lay off the mushrooms. We don't do drugs. Oh, with abilities, you don't need drugs. Believe me, you don't want to factor that in there. It's hard enough just being sane.
Yes, it's bad enough, especially with me, because I don't know if it's from collecting shards or deja vus or what have you, but every decision I make, I always know the decision I didn't make, and it gets so confusing sometimes because it's so real, as if it's happened. I'm like, wait a second, did it happen this way or did it happen this way? What's going on? And then it's like I have to actually start talking to people to make sure, hey, do you remember this and this happened? And they're like, no, this is the way it happened. It's like, oh yeah, okay, I know.
Oh my.
And it's so hard to deal with that because it's so much and
so much information.
You don't know what's real and what's not real at this point.
It's really hard in this, I would say 3D, but we're not in 3D anymore. Even in the 4D reality, when you have all this information coming in, these downloads and of decisions that were made before you even get to the point where they are made, it does get confusing. And I can see why a lot of people have shut down some stuff because it's like, whoa, wait a minute, this is a lot to handle. It's like when you already know something before you even decided to do something about it, you already know. And then you have to decide, okay, I already know what's going to happen if I don't do it. I already know what's going to happen if I do it. Yes. Now, which way do I actually go?
And there's a lot of times that I get these deja vus like that, but it's different because most of the time if I've already made the decision, it's like, wait a second, I remember it both ways or even 3 or 4 different ways. It's very weird. And then with the deja vu, it's like I've already known exactly what happened and it's happening exactly the same again while I'm here witnessing it over again. And it's like, wait a second, this already happened, or did it? Or am I just looking into the future or the now and seeing the decisions that are being made?
Well, because everything is in the now, believe it or not, and everything is happening now. Your entire existence is in the now. Even though you think there's a past and there's a future, no. It's all in the now, and you're tapping into the now, and that's everywhere.
Yes, and this is why you can actually know exactly what's going to happen to you if you look into it yourself. I don't know if everybody can do this. This is just something that naturally comes to me, and it can be very hard to deal with. But if you are curious and you want to do these things, just start thinking about it. Remember what you're going to do. Just know what you're doing. So,
yeah, because it's It can be confusing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot, too, especially when you know. I'll give one prime example. When Wendy was younger, she was in, what grade were you in when you had that accident, that motorcycle accident?
10th grade.
10th grade.
I was a sophomore.
I had this overwhelming feeling, and then I saw it. Some horrific thing was going to happen to her, and she was going to die. And I'm like, oh my God, she can't go on this vacation with her little girlfriend. I'm not going to let her go. And I voiced my opinion loudly. No, she can't go. I don't care. She's not going to go. Some horrific thing is going to happen. And then my husband and I were battling. Stop being a pessimist. I said, no, I'm not being a pessimist. I see it. I see it. I see it. And then, of course, Wendy's, Mom, just stop. You're going to not let me have a good time. Because she's going to go and ride motorcycles and have a really good time in North Carolina. We live in Maryland. At the time, we lived in Maryland. Wendy still does. But, it took everything I had because I knew it was going to be horrific. I knew it, and it took everything I had to let her go. And it's like, oh, please, don't be true. And then she went. She had a really great time up until, what, the last day?
The very last day. The last couple hours, actually.
You should talk about what happened.
Well, what happened was I was riding a dirt bike, and I was riding it the whole time I was there. And next thing you know, we did something, and I went to go back on it, and I went to start it, and it stalled out. So I did it again, and it stalled out. And I did it one more time, I think, and it stalled out 3 times. So I had asked my friend's father, and I'm like, can you help me start this? For some reason, I can't get it started. So he went ahead and started it, and it turned right on, no issues. I'm like, okay. So as soon as I got on it, and I went to rear up to go, it just went from like 0 to 40, 50 in a second, literally. And I'm on the bike like, I'm like, what the hell? Oh my God, I'm gonna get ready to fall into this long, deep creek with all these huge boulders. And it was either a choice of going into the creek with almost no water and only rocks, or jumping off of the bike before I hit this creek. So I literally had about maybe 10 feet left before I was gonna get into the creek. Plus there's trees and everything else and bushes in the way. Or I'm gonna jump off. So I decided to jump off. I ended up getting up, and I guess I ended up jumping off. I felt a sharp pain. It was like an instant. It didn't last long. It was a quick, sharp pain. And I didn't realize it when I was jumping off because I'm thinking of everything else. Oh, I'm getting ready to hit the ground. I'm going to fucking hurt myself and everything else. Oh no, what am I going to do? You know? I had a helmet on.
Yeah, you were all geared up.
Yep, I had everything on, and I fell to the ground back first, and I'm like, okay, I'm okay. I was freaking out for no reason, so I'm fine. And as soon as I get ready to pick myself up from off the ground, I halfway stood up, and I looked down at my leg, and I'm like, oh my God. What? Is this real? What's happening right now? I had a huge hole in my leg. It was probably about this big. About this big. And if you wanted to, you could put your whole entire hand and fist inside of my leg. It was
look worse than a shark bite. Oh, don't stand up, because I'm going to show them what your leg looks like after. And this was years ago. Let's look at Wendy's leg. You might have to turn the light on.
All right.
Here's Wendy's. I don't know. Can you see this? There's Wendy's leg.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, that's what the motorcycle did to her leg.
And it's all the way down underneath of my leg also. And I've got a huge hole right here.
It ripped her entire leg open. You can turn that horrible light back off. So it was terrible.
Oh, it was. My fatty tissue was all over the place.
It was a nightmare. It was terrible.
And it was weird though, because there was no blood whatsoever. It was just a big skin flap laying next to me with all of like my fatty tissue in my leg spread out all over the ground. And all over me and on the floor. And it was real soft and little, and it was like white, kind of, like a beige color. So it was gross, okay?
200 and some inside stitches.
Almost 300. It was 300. It was like 296 stitches.
And then staples.
60 staples on the outside to hold it together.
And I get a phone call. My worst phone call ever. Your daughter's going to be okay. We're at the hospital. We're waiting on a specialty surgeon because no one can do this surgery because it was so damaged. We're waiting from a guy who came back from Iraq, who worked in the military as one of those people that go on this, where people get blown up and they go and they do surgery right there on the ground if they have to.
On the spot, yeah.
On the spot. And he was going to take 4 hours to get there to work on her leg because not only was it all shredded in a big old mess,
I had dirt and grass and
everything,
all that kind of stuff inside.
and it was going to be hours in the surgery room.
Yes.
And I'm having a heart attack, and I'm looking at my husband going, next time you will listen to me. And she missed her femoral artery by 2 millimeters. If it was 2 millimeters, you know how small this is, over, she'd have bled out in 5 minutes, and she'd have died.
Yeah.
So
that's about right.
In this timeline, she survived.
Yeah.
It was the worst day of my life.
And it's very weird because when it first happened, it's like I'm saying all of this and doing all of this in a minute, and to me, it felt like
time slowed down.
Yes, time slowed down, but to me, it felt like I'm doing all this really fast, and all this time is going by, and I'm watching my friend and her father and her brother, and it's like they're nonchalantly walking over to me, and it was real slow. They don't even know what's going on, and I'm like doing all this. I'm like, what's happening?
Oh gosh!
But it was so weird. Oh my gosh!
And when they saw you, they were flipping out.
Oh yeah. He immediately took his shirt off and tourniqueted my leg just to make sure, I guess, nothing would fall out of it.
That was your friend's father.
Yeah, my friend's father. And
the grandmother had one of those buttons you push. So they ran to her and started pushing her button. And there was somebody that was right down the road that lived nearby or something that came immediately or something.
Yeah, well, I guess they came. I don't even really remember that part.
I think that's what they told me. There was a medic that lived right down the road.
Yeah.
And he was at their house in like 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And he did something.
It's weird because they were in like the nowhere zone. It takes a while to get to that place, but I'm going to tell you that ambulance got there in like 5 minutes time. Yeah. Although my time was messed up at the time, so I'm not sure, but it felt like it was only about 5 minutes.
The medic showed up in 2 minutes, and it was because of the medic that everything was going to be okay. Because he did what he had to do. And then, of course, she had the ambulance ride, which was actually longer than what she thought it was. And then she was in surgery for hours. Mm-hmm. And, of course, I'm sitting at home looking at my husband going, next time you don't listen to what I say. This could have been prevented. It took her to heal. What was it? This was before school got out, so they had to grade her out early.
It actually happened Memorial Weekend.
Yeah.
Memorial Weekend is when we went. And my leg didn't really heal completely until
and then it started to dissolve. They had padding and stuff inside, and then it didn't dissolve. And it did dissolve, and so it reopened. Oh, what a nightmare! We had to pack it every single day till it healed, and we're talking months and months and months. But because she had gotten so much nerve damage, she couldn't feel it being packed. I can't imagine if she could have felt that.
I couldn't really feel. I had a lot of pain trying to stand or do anything like this.
No, it's horrible.
But most of my leg on the inside was numb. I had nerve damage, so my nerves were really messed up. If you tried to touch them, they would sting or, hurt. But other than that, I could not feel the packing on the outside of my leg, thank goodness.
Yeah, because you have to pack it every day.
Yeah, more of the damage was on the inside of it.
How did we digress to this?
I don't know.
Oh, my.
Oh, thank God it was the summertime, though, because I had to take baths outside with the hose.
It's true. I had this gazebo, but you couldn't get into the bathtub. It just wasn't going to work.
No.
So the gazebo, I put curtains out there around the gazebo. I got the hose in a chair, and I had to hose her down for 3 months.
Yeah.
It was hot out, so it was pleasurable, I guess. The nice cool water.
Yeah, it was like a vacation.
It was terrible though because I had to wash your hair and.
Well, that was terrible. Yeah. Oh, geez.
Oh boy, how did we get to that? You poor thing.
Never again. Never again.
No. Wendy had catering service, mommy catering. It's horrific. So I guess this should probably be the end of the video. How long do you think we've been talking?
I would think at least a half an hour.
Oh, do you
Probably
think
longer than that.
Oh boy, maybe we should make this the end because you're all going to be like, no, we don't want to hear these stories anymore.
Oh my gosh, how did we even get on that? That was terrible.
I don't know. We went off on a tangent. All right, everybody have a great day, and we'll be making probably another video. When did you want to go back home?
I don't know yet.
Okay, we'll see. We might make another video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.